Hi, and welcome to Session 5 of the Jesus Life. We're covering chapters 11 and 12 as we close out our study. I hope it's been fruitful for you. Here to help us with chapter 11 is a good friend of mine and a member of my small group, Suzanne Jars. Suzanne, thank you for being a good sport and talking with us today.
You're welcome.
Suzanne, how have you experienced suffering?
Well, Scott, at first when you asked me to do that, I thought that seemed odd and that I didn't really want to be the person to talk about suffering because I think everyone has suffered. But what comes to mind was April 7th, 2006, when I was diagnosed with cancer. You don't expect to be diagnosed with stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma when you're 32 years old and you have a 2-year-old and a 3.5-year-old. And so with that, I went through 12 weeks of chemotherapy, and of course drugs are there to help you with the side effects, but honestly, by week 5, you are suffering, and it was hard to be a mom and a wife and balance my family.
So how did your suffering, did it shape you into becoming closer to Jesus or further from him?
When I read that question, and I knew you were going to ask that to me, the first thing that came to mind was the Saturday after my surgery. And I remember feeling really scared. And I remember laying in my bed, and I had my Bible, and I was laying there, and I'm not sure if I was just searching for verses that maybe would bring me comfort. But I came upon Romans 5, which actually is referred to in the book. And that was kind of the verses 1 through 5 were really what I prayed. And I think Mike and I prayed a lot because it talks in there about suffering bringing, perseverance, and perseverance bringing hope and character. And so that, and then Philippians 4:13 was another verse that I found a lot of comfort in when I was going through that.
Do you think that suffering has helped you in any way?
I don't know if it's helped me. I think with any life experiences, it helps us help others, because I feel like what I experienced, that sometimes I can help other people that are that are facing chemotherapy or lymphoma. But I also think that we sometimes, on the flip side of that, we don't know how our suffering has maybe helped other people. Like, for example, my coworkers and teammates were meeting once a week at school, before school, and praying for me. And I didn't even know that. And maybe they got closer with God. I don't know.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
And I encourage you to share your stories in your small group time. To close our study, let's go back to the text, one of the texts we looked at the beginning. From Matthew 11, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." I encourage you to test the practices we've looked at in the Jesus Life. I encourage you to get close with the people that you're close to enjoy the journey, to make life more about others and less about you, and to walk with the Lord as you live out the Jesus Life. Thanks for being a part of this study.